Good evening, St. Thomas More prayer warriors. So I hope you're doing well this evening, and prayer is getting easier, going better for you. I want to just mention a couple of things. One, that I know this may be hard for some that maybe hadn't been doing this type of prayer before, right? And the amount of it it can feel overwhelming and things as you're getting used to it, getting into it. So I just want to speak to that for a moment of, it's okay, right? Build yourself up in the rosary. Uh, Maybe you can't pray a rosary every day, but you're able to do a um, decade a day, right? And you build on that to a couple of decades a day, and then on until you're able to get that rosary in each day. That's perfectly fine. Um, and the vocal prayers, those are pretty easy to pray, right? We want to pray them with our heart, of course, as well. But that's probably not too hard for you. But, if there are days when you miss it, that's okay. The one thing I really want to focus on is the mental prayer part. That 15 minutes of mental prayer, that's the one I really want us to create and have as a habit of prayer in our life. It is the most important. A saint after saint after saint will tell you that. And I believe them because I've experienced that myself and how powerful it is to protect us, to keep us growing in our faith, to help us encounter in a very personal way Jesus. That's the point of it. And to mentally reflect on that's going to strengthen our mind, especially with all the stuff out there that can get in. So we want to be very attentive to the mental prayer. And so that's why over these next few weeks, I'm going to offer some tips on mental prayer. Those tips come from this book, which is called Into the Deep by Dan Burke. It's very short. I think it's like 90 pages. It's very good. You can actually go to Dynamic Catholic, to their store, and you can get a paperback version of this. The book is free, but they charge you, like $5 or $6 for shipping, but it's really actually worth it. It's a very good book. It's very simple, very short. I'm going to be going through the things that are in there as a way to help you, but it's also probably be good if you want to read it on your own. That's perfectly fine as well. So this first video is really going to be focused on how do I prepare for prayer? How do I put things in order so that I'm successful at mental prayer? All right. So the best way to begin to pray is to begin to pray, right? Beginning to pray even before we completely understand prayer is the best way to learn, because actually it's way more important than acquiring the abstract knowledge about prayer by merely reading about it. All right. So just diving in and failing and feeling like you fail all the time. That's the most important part. Just to begin to pray. And what the things that are going to be helpful are three. All right. Sacred time, sacred space, and sacred attention. Right. Those are the three things that are going to help you become successful. In the business world, they say the best practices, right? These are the best practices of all the saints and prayers throughout the history of the church who have found it to be very powerful. And so sacred time, we're dedicating 15 minutes, very powerful 15 minutes of the best time of each day. So schedule it into your day, even before anything else that you do, right? Make sure that has a prime place of a good time for you to pray. And promise God to protect it and to treat it as a priority. Don't obsess over or worry about the method or about the details, but simply and peacefully seek Christ in and through the scriptures. Right? We're going to get to the different methods and how to do that in some of the next videos, but don't obsess over that. Just open those scriptures, begin to read from the Gospels very prayerfully, slowly, and meet Christ. That's your first job as you've been doing this. So that sacred time, set that time aside, find that 15 minutes and protect it. Protect it with everything and ask God to help you protect that time and promise Him that time each day. That's sacred time. Sacred space is if you don't already have one, create a space in your house that is dedicated to prayer and nothing else. So you can only need, like 4 square feet, right? You can make it very small. It could be a little bench or a chair, a ledge, a table, right? That's all you need. So you'll have maybe a light, right? That'll be about all you need. You can make it as beautiful, as simple, whatever you want, whatever you have. A little corner of a room where you got a chair and a little table. So you'll have maybe a crucifix or an icon, something that helps you recognize when I go to this space. Maybe it's just this little four by four space, right? I know that I'm doing nothing but praying there. So there's no television, there's no phones, no iPads, unless you use that for prayer. Those things you can leave to the side and just make this your sacred space where many times, if you protect this little space that you've created into your prayer space, many times it will become, when you just walk into that space, you will be drawn to prayer automatically, right? That practice, that habitual practice of prayer, when given a space that is created for that, will make it easier and easier for you to enter into prayer when it's time to pray. So create that sacred space, and very simply, but a place that's only for prayer, only for your prayer. And then sacred attention is the final one. Number 3 is sacred attention. So pick a good prayer posture, similar to sitting and talking with Jesus in adoration, or knowing that you're in the presence of God, right? And you're sitting and having a conversation with your friend, Jesus. And then turn your heart to God and just take a few deep, slow breaths. There's nothing magical that helps us to focus on God, but it just prepares us to encounter Him. We kind of slow down. It's good to slow down from our normal rat race pace as we enter into prayer, and just breathe slowly and normally. And that's going to help us. And if our mind wanders and we get distracted, which it normally will, we want to just simply and gently bring our focus back to God and to the text of our prayer. Don't get agitated or discouraged. Just recognize it and simply and gently bring yourself back to prayer. Most important, always that, and always filling our mind with God. Those are our 3 things, right? Sacred time, setting that 15 minutes aside. Sacred space, somewhere for me to be in prayer with Jesus and know that space is for prayer. And then sacred attention, continually focusing my mind on the Lord, on the text of Scripture that are going to help me enter deeply into prayer. Those are kind of our beginning things that are very helpful for us to make prayer good, right? To help it become good, to help it become a habit, to help it deepen over time. And so the next time we'll get into maybe a sacred or solemn commitment to God about prayer. And I'll show you how to do that, and I'll share some resources with you to do that as well. That'll be very helpful. And then we'll get into like specifics of praying. What does one of those methods look like? And I'll try to walk through each of those over these next weeks, just to help you continue to get better and better at prayer, to make it easier for you. I know it can be tough at sometimes, but just persevere. You keep doing it, you'll keep getting better at it. And the Lord will, He loves this. He loves that you come to Him with those 15 minutes to spend with Him in Scripture, or in your mind thinking about Him and speaking to Him about how to deepen your own life and journey with Him. The Lord loves that, and He will continue to bless it. There'll be difficulties, there'll be struggles. That's all part of it. He's purifying our hearts and helping us deepen our own prayer life. So hang in there, keep going. It's amazing what the Lord's going to do in the 150 or so that are signed up now. I just love it. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for saying yes. Keep saying yes each day, and I'm going to keep helping you just get better and better at prayer, and help it become a beautiful habit in your life that will bring abundant fruit of God's grace. God bless you.